either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become a villain. These words here speak volumes about John as a character. At the start, we was really rooting for him, as he had made a genuine effort to change his ways after the authorities broke him down and made him loathe a part of himself. The authorities didn't fix him in those classes. He was tortured mentally, physically, and vilified his ability, rendering him unable to use his ability without crashing out even. But for this video, we gonna witness the absolute dismantling of the Wellston hierarchy. Wait, hold on, slow down. So you're at my channel, haven't subbed, haven't liked, then you can just stay here. Perfect. Now that you paid your tax, we can get going. That wasn't so hard now, was it? So Arlo ends up taking John to talk about the events that happened today. And he ends up questioning John on why he beat Ethan to the extent that he did, as there was simply no need in going that far. If you guys forgot what John done to Ison, I don't know how you could have, but if you did, here's a little recap.
Did you know that glazing LeBron is more than a hobby? Did you know that glazing LeBron is more than a hobby? LeBron more than a hobby.
John leaves Arlo with a final message, and that message being to enjoy his time on the throne, as it won't be long till John comes to claim it. Sophina ends up getting verbally assaulted at one point, but luckily Cecile's there and takes the boy out. Cecile, however, has her own agenda, and I know you see Cecile. I know you see Cecile. She's so bad. Anyways, let's not. John and Cecile end up talking, and they end up coming to an agreement. Cecile helps John get abilities, get all that when he fights the Royals, and when John becomes king, Cecile gets her own few perks. And enter the Jack of Wellston, Blyke. His ability being energy discharge, and at a level of 5.0 he's up against the Titan, the Joker of Wellston. So it starts off with Joker running at Blyke, and Blyke chooses not to activate his ability as he knows he can copy abilities. He evades the first hit, then goes for his mask, but that gets countered, and he didn't know Joker had hands, because after this Joker slaps a mean body shot straight to his liver. Blyke goes back and clocks that he has a strength ability that he claimed beforehand. John goes in to swing, but hits straight air as Blyke ducks underneath it and goes for his own body shot. But he got too greedy and thought he could go for a little headshot. John grabs his arm, swings him to the floor, and is about to break his arm. But Blyke finally activates his ability and tries to catch him off guard, but John swiftly dodges that. Blyke zooms about with his beams and gets some distance between John. John then uses Blyke's own ability to outmaneuver him, and Blyke charges a beam that John just slides underneath and ends up getting behind Blyke just to shoot beams from all his fingers, which takes out Blyke's arms and legs. And now as Blyke lies there like a fish out of water, John goes behind him and deals the finishing blow. This next fight, I don't even want to cover this. It's my girl. You look at Cecile, and how could you even think to hurt her? However, it seems as though John couldn't care less about Cecile, as she proceeds to get absolutely mollywopped. We don't even get to see the start of the fight. We just get to see Cecile already losing. She thinks he's gonna end it nice. She thinks the fight's gonna end. John's gonna end it nice. No, he keeps going. Then she's thinking like, how far do you plan to take this? And John just keeps taking it further and further. I can't stand to see this, so I'm gonna express my hate through a couple noises. So John's next opponent is the Queen of Wellston, Remy. At this point, They all know John is Joker, but they can't just jump him as John. It will be like 4 heighties versus 1 cripple in everyone else's eyes. So they end up making a plan to jump Joker with Ison and Blyke on a building to snipe John if she ends up losing, or if it seems like she's losing. Cecile then asks John whose ability he wants, and then he's like, "Nah, I'll save you for another time. I've got someone else in mind." And who he goes for is Zeke, which is surprising, but it makes sense because his ability is phase shift. So he has a defensive form and an offensive form. So it starts off with Joker mean mugging the Queen, and everyone knows what's about to go down, so they end up dashing. John goes on offense, so he ends up phase shifting and goes to meet his fist with Bunny's face, but is unfortunately unsuccessful. At this moment, she clocks John didn't take Cecile's ability. He quickly moves out of the way, grabs his hand, ends up attempting to knock him unconscious by coursing lightning through his veins. Joker switches to defense, ends up tanking a hit and goes to swing again, just to hit straight concrete. She then backs up, and about time, she finally clocks that John took Zeke's ability. He then shows off the amp lightning, and yes, John, we see the fit, and calls for lightning like he got Mjolnir and attempt to smite her. But when he's a quick one, cause she cut as soon as she saw the lightning. But as she does this, she pauses, and then he's right behind her. But she might be Weave Nation certified, cause she hasn't been hit this entire fight. I don't know if you noticed that. She's got some skill to it. Like, and she's landed a hit, so she's won up, although it done no damage. Blyke and Ison finally do something and snap John from the building. And as John realizes he's been sniped, Wemmy crashes lightning down at John, only for him to switch into his defensive phase and just tank the hit. John then flexes his amp lightning once again. You look cold, I'm not gonna lie to you. Now that John finally took some damage, when he takes his chance to come crashing down with more lightning, it ends up hitting head on, and Lemmy goes to unmask him at this point. Cause now that he's finally stunned, no, he ain't stunned, he was joking. You know that. I don't really thought that my goat John would go down like that. Like that. In. John then charges up a mean right hand, which plants itself inside her gut. This then sends her flying into the nearest wall, and she's holding her stomach, cause I know that shit hurts. Who the fuck said your friends could tag along? John asked calmly. Blyke and Ison try to snipe him while he's saying this. He dodges it without looking, maybe, I can't really tell. John then looks at Blyke and Ison and makes his way over to them. Blyke then reassures Ison that John can't get to them. The only way it'd be possible for John to get to them is if he scaled the wall, which he absolutely does, cause he's John, he's like that. So anyways, Blyke starts blasting. John scales the wall effortlessly while dodging these attacks. John then appears in front of Blyke, and Blyke's thinking like, what the fuck, man? He scaled the wall. And then hits Blyke with a kick. Somehow gets blocked. Just let it hit you, Blyke. You've lost. While blocking, Blyke manages to graze John's shoulder, but that's something light for John. Like, we all know he can take that. Blyke gets sent flying while being electrocuted. John then walks up to Blyke to go finish the job, but Ison finally decides to step in like he wasn't watching for the last 5 or 6 panels and says, "Enough, John! You took this too far!" John then switches targets and zaps Ison. He's in pure pain, you just tell. Blyke then attempts to surrender after attempting to jump John, which is so dumb. Why would you even say that? John then blasts Blyke, and Blyke tries to get out of the way, but turns out it's a homing beam. Blyke obviously gets hit and is on his knees now. And just as John is about to finish the job, Lemmy says there's no point in all this, and he's accomplishing nothing by beating everyone senseless. He hasn't solved anything, and that all he's done is hurt people. John then feels like Chris Brown and charges multiple homing beams on Lemmy. After he does this, he jumps off the rooftop and flies towards her. Arlo at this point finds out where the fight is and tells Holden to go get Serafina so she can clock that John is Joker. King jumps down to protect his queen, as a king should, and he puts his ability on Lemmy so she don't take no damage. Then it cuts to Arlo, and that boy clean, I'm not gonna lie to you, got a blue eye ability thing going on, the handout, that boy clean as hell. John is now so vexed, he did not expect Arlo to just jump in there. This is now the final stand, the king and queen of Wellston versus the Joker. John is also now down one arm, so they actually have a shot here. John then begins to charge a beam with one hand and sends it out to Arlo. He takes bare damage, but at this moment Lemmy's near John and zaps him, but that basically does no damage as well because of Zeke's defense form. But now they clock that John can't use more than 4 abilities at a time. John then launches a beam at Lemmy, but it's blocked by Arlo, and then Lemmy launches bare lightning at John, and John's about to escape, but then Arlo taps him in. Like, Arlo's moving like a D1 support player. I don't even know. I don't know what that meant, but yeah, he's just a good support. Out of pure spite, John refuses to go down. John charges a beam, and everyone's shook on how he's doing this, because at this point he's being shot by Lemmy, and Arlo has a barrier on him, so he can't escape it, and yet he's still charging a beam. Arlo at this point simply says he's been outclassed. John then shoots another beam at Lemmy, but Arlo protects her, but the barrier cracks against the force of the beam. Lemmy goes for one final attempt at the mask, but it gets parried. John knees her, she gets sent up. He comes down with like a, it's like them DBZ combos, Dragon Ball Z combos. Sent up, flying, gets sent down. At this point the queen is down, and John goes to finish her off. I think John wants to kill her, and then Arlo comes in with the save again, says, "Your score's with me. What the fuck did Lemmy do to you to deserve this?" Which is a valid, I feel like I'm understanding Arlo a bit more now. Arlo goes to try to unmask Joker as well. That doesn't go to plan, and John grabs his hand and electrocutes him, then charges a kinetic beam, booms him, but he gets up. But before he can even react, John's there, knees him in the face, grabs his head, smashes it on the concrete, and now Serafina's clocked that Joker's John. Low key, John messed up here, because he done all of this for Serafina so that she'd be safe, but it ended up having the opposite effect. If he simply just worked with Lemmy, it could have worked out, but since he got that PTSD shit from the start of the video, he's going back to his old ways. Words don't get to him anymore. You'll see in the next part, the only thing he listens to is power, nothing else. Words no longer get to him. Whatever you say, no matter how good your argument is, it won't go through his head. Simply because he's stronger than you. Quick side note, editing this video has been so long. You don't understand the amount of times I was mid-edit and my computer just decided to stop working. But it is what it is. Thanks for watching, guys. It means a lot to me. Sub up, please, please. And yeah, man, it's tired.